IVM.
Hello and welcome to the Habit Coach Podcast, the bite-sized podcast filled with quick and easy, actionable habits. Remember, great habits create that awesome life. I am Ashdin Doctor, your habit coach. And today's fun fact of the day has to do with celebrations. Did you know that the tradition of champagne being used to mark a celebration started way back in 1789? And this is for the same reason that we use it today. Back in the European courts of the time, the expensive drink was a sign of status and royalty. It was also associated with fun and merriment. Back then, it was felt that it had a positive effect on a woman's beauty and a man's wit. I found this line hilarious, keeping in mind today's associations with gender roles and equality. Oh, different days, those were different days. Anyway, even now, we have lavish parties and celebrations filled with hundreds and thousands of guests, birthdays and weddings and anniversaries. What's interesting is the people you have around you while you're celebrating. And I hope you are surrounded by your friends, your near and dear ones, and your well-wishers. So many times, it's hard to tell. I've been for so many parties where people who are attending were just bitching about the people celebrating, talking bad about them, gossiping, or just being jealous. And I was wondering, what is the point of having these celebrations? Have you also experienced this? I remember so vividly, many years ago, celebrating my birthday. When I looked around the room, I felt I was alone. Like none of these people were my friends. It was such a lousy feeling. I remember making a promise never to feel like that again. The truth is that nobody teaches us how to make friends, choose friends, and recognize friends. And this is where things get so confusing. We were taught how to calculate the angles in a triangle, but not the angles in your friendship. Our friends are the people that will make us or break us. They will lift you up or drag you down. So we have to be very careful when choosing them. And here's a great way to evaluate if someone is a friend or not. And I learned this from watching a video by Jordan Peterson. It made so much sense that I had to share it with you. In fact, this advice was also what my father used to give me as well. The first habit is to see how the friend responds to bad news. Are you comfortable sharing bad news with them? Do they get upset, angry, and make everything about them? Or do they immediately share something worse that has happened to them and thus derailing the conversation? If this friend does not give you the space to grieve, doesn't say that they're there for you, doesn't make you feel like they have your back, they're not your true friends. Why? Because you will never feel supported by them. You will feel that the friendship is one-sided, like you are just giving and they're taking and taking. More importantly, you will never feel comfortable just being yourself. The good and the bad sides of you. The next habit is to see if you can share something positive with them. Do you feel like sharing good news? A raise that you got? A new project that you're working on? Do they get excited for you? Do they do something to make you feel even more special? Or do they act like a wet sponge and bring you down? Or change the conversation? Do you feel they are happy for you or just putting on a show? And you will know this in your gut and in your intuition. During this lockdown, many old friendships have broken and many new friendships have been forged. It is actually a great time to evaluate your friendships and see which are your true friends. And yes, this might seem a little heartless and a strange thing to do, but it is essential. And as your habit coach, I don't want you to ever feel alone in your own celebration. If such true friends don't exist in your life now, people who drive you, support you, have your back, and are happy for your success, be patient. You will eventually find people like that. Use this time to slowly disassociate with people who are not your true friends. Speak to them once in a while. Slowly end that friendship. So your simple habit for identifying genuine true friendships starts by asking yourself, are you comfortable sharing bad news and happy news with this person? Observe their reaction and then choose what to do next. So start these habits and share with us your progress using the hashtag #TheHabitCoach. If you like this podcast, don't forget to check out other interesting podcasts on the IVM network. You can listen to us on the IVM Podcast app or ivmpodcast.com. You can also follow us on social media. We are at IVM Podcasts on Twitter and Instagram. If you want to reach out to me, I am Ashdin Doc on Twitter and Instagram. You can find lots more information on my website, awesome180.com, or check out different content on my YouTube channel called AWESOME180. That's Awesome180.
I hope you enjoyed that show. I'd like to thank our sponsors this week, Intel, for supporting us. First, right off the bat, want to congratulate Ashdin Doctor on celebrating the 300th episode of The Habit Coach. It's a great show. If you haven't been listening to it, listen to it now. And if you listen to it, you can almost go for an entire year with an episode a day. It's really fun. Do definitely check that out. Arjun Koladi, the head of sales for Spotify in India, was on Advertising is Dead. Do check that out. Really fun show. On Cyrus Says, we had Samit Basu, the author, fantasy author, one of my favorites. Definitely do check that out. It was Utsav Memorial Week this week on the IVM network. He was on Cyrus Says Cock and Bull on Thursday. He was on Litnama and, of course, his own podcast, Postcards from Nowhere. Do check that out. And one last note before we go. IVM Likes is back, and we've been doing a bunch of interesting conversations about different pop culture things that you might want to check out during the pandemic. Do give it a listen. I'm sure you'll enjoy that. And with that, I hope to see you again next week.
Beta, did you know 79% of all scientists in NASA are Indian only?
देखो, इंडिया में टैक्स सिर्फ मिडिल क्लास भरती है. Everyone is just enjoying free यार.
आजकल के youngsters are only interested in partying and enjoying. उनको देश की पड़ी ही नहीं है.
बेटा तुम बस शादी कर लो, उसके बाद तो you can enjoy life like anything.
I will tell you what this country needs. This country needs 15 years of dictatorship. That is the only way to become a superpower. See the Chinese, how much they've progressed.
सुनो, तुमने ये WhatsApp forward देखा?
So what's common between all of these statements?
They're all absolutely rubbish.
Fake WhatsApp forwards that spread like wildfire.
And statements that defy any logic.
We are here to debunk them all.
Way of family WhatsApp groups, worst nightmare. Where what happens when you read a book.
Basically, we're just a bunch of guys who want to cut through the bullshit of everyone saying this, how it won't be true.
So that the next time someone confidently squeezes out some WhatsApp or Twitter BS, you can look them dead in the eye and go, Uncle, please sit.
So join me, Joel,
and me, Tushar,
every Mondays for a fresh new episode of Uncle, Please Sit.